just like a. You think you're what? Better square up. Show those folks who oppose you the touch. That's that king. I step up in the ring. Wow, with the raps. In fact, you can sing, but no matter how you flow, go for the throat. Spotlight hits, think you handle the glow. Who's just beginning? Who's already pro? Ain't just in it, I'm a star of the show. Star of the show. Show me what you got, I can spot some talent. You still got squash and you fought so valiant. If I come for some blood, gonna cop a gallon. I came from the mud, I just got some balance. Now, who's gonna bring it the most? And who's gonna coast? Who'll get bread and get toasted? Who's getting smoke like a note? And who's gonna ghost? Who'll try rigging the votes? Second Roman smoking, got the flow, can hold the notion. I don't pose another notion, I oppose you, rose and host it. Always posted with no focus, go through motions, and it's hopeless. If you boasting, then I'm roasting, coast to coast, to people voting. Not for you, y'all see steam when I step up from the booth. 6 feet deep, get my beats from a tomb. And a 6 clean sweep, not with squeegees or brooms. If you spit means beef, then I'm eating. I'll step up to the plate if you're ready to ball. A couple vets meet the greats, but so many will fall. When your reps on the line could be ending the call. No, y'all keep the rings, I want heads on my wall. There's plaques full of rappers and singers alike. This ain't about clout, it's what you bring to the mic. You can spit it, flow it, sing it, or just wing it and fight. Who is? Disney put you singers on ice. Think you the what? Better square up. Show those folks who oppose you the touch. That's that king. I step up in the ring. Wow, with the raps. In fact, you can sing, but no matter how you flow, go for the throat. Spotlight hits, think you handle the glow. Who's just beginning? Who's already pro? Ain't just in it, I'm a star of the show. Star of the show. You're the two, the one. The poet whose soul can move the sun. Let the weapon, no use for guns. Just throw it in the two, you're done. Rated. Most want players get glazed, claim hatred. Folks be amazed they ain't paid and ain't made it. Stole the picture out the frame, copy paste, claim they painted. Who's the best in the basement? That's rated. No fame in the moat with these basement raps. Yet I still rock the boat like my wave was cracked. Go glow, there you go, only made a track. Most don't want the smoke, you'll get laid to ash. Dust them, cut from the percussion, lips split from the kick, face chopped like a mutton. Smoke crops in a buzzing. The truth is just ducking. This deuces be bluffing out my way before it's something like it's nothing. White collar rhymer, every sesh profesh. X knows no less, best invest in checks. Fresh to death, yes, to the nines I'm dressed. Quick flip from the 6, never mind my stress. Shh, the show is starting. Sun's gone down and the ocean's parted. You want one round, then you hope departed. When they bump my sound, gonna go, you think you're the what? Better square up. Show those folks who oppose you the touch. That's that king. I step up in the ring. Wow, with the raps. In fact, you can sing, but no matter how you flow, go for the throat. Spotlight hits, think you handle the glow. Who's just beginning? Who's already pro? Ain't just in it, I'm a star of the show. You think you're the what? Better square up. Show those folks who oppose you the touch. That's that king. I step up in the ring. Wow, with the raps. In fact, you can sing, but no matter how you flow, go for the throat. Spotlight.
Yo. What up? Great. Somebody knocks on my door right when go live. Hold on one second. Jay. Hold on. All right. What's up, folks? All right, round 2 is underway. Hope everybody had a good time in round 1. How's everybody feeling? Everybody excited, happy, sad? It's okay. So yeah.
To Bubba's house?
Yeah. Here, Jay. Hold on.
Can I bring my tablet there too?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to anybody else's house, come back first and let me know.
Okay. What time do I need to come back?
In an hour.
Okay. So what time will it be by then?
2:30.
Okay.
You know where the air tag is?
Oh, no.
1 second.
Hold on. I'll meet y'all at my garage. Yeah.
Alright, if you go anywhere other than Baba's house, come back here and let me know first.
Bye.
Alright, what did I miss? Rounds, what do I mean by rounds? We're in the league. We're doing a song league, song versus song. We have 35 people still in it. Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, 35 people. We started out with 41 and 6 people, well, not 6 people dropped out. About 3 people dropped out for personal reasons. The rest of them no-showed, so they are no longer in the league just because it just made it too complicated. Why are winners matched against losers? Because I had to reset the whole tournament because of those no-show people. But that said, everybody who's left in here seems pretty active, seems pretty participatory. Is that a word? I'm gonna make it a word. Seems like they'll participate, so I don't foresee any going forward dropouts. So if you show up, you show up. If you don't show up, you just take the L for that week, and we keep it moving. So that's why it just reset and started from scratch. But I did save all of the results, all of the songs from round 1. So none of that was lost on us. We still have all the data, so all that stuff will be factored in. Just had to get over some technical glitches. So yeah, round 2 is up. It says round 1. Maybe we'll go 7 rounds. You know, maybe that round 1 is like weeding out those dropouts, and then we'll just use that. But yeah, got a lot of interesting matchups. There was a moment when I was looking at the seeding where it may have resulted in a Coulter versus Nick Bonin. But after some random sorting by the bot, that didn't happen. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, round 2 is up. Pick your beat for your opponent. So not picking your own beat, pick your beat that you want your opponent to do a song on. I see a couple people have shaken hands and agreed to go easy on each other, which if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Ideally, you would pick something that would give you the advantage. But hey, if you guys want to even out the competition, you're more than welcome to stroke each other's egos. That's fine. But yeah, there'll be some different twists as we go along. I got other things planned, so it's not just picking beats. There will be some more beat rounds. I do have enough beats left over. I'm not saying these are the best beats in the world. Hell, that's not like I have a budget to go talk to Dr. Dre and Pharrell and just have some beats sitting around. But basically, just to give you guys a sense of why they're going to be curveballs, these are the type of things that I ran into when I was working in the studio, right? You know, of course, everybody thinks, oh, I'm an artist. I show up, I do my thing, I go home. But when you're working with a label or you're working with other people and you show up, they will throw curveballs at you. They'll say, hey, I have this beat. I want you to make a song on this beat. Or, hey, here are these topics, make a song to these topics, and so forth. So that's what all of the curves are going to be based on, is things that I experienced in the music industry that weren't so plug and play, so to speak. So there's more to come. Definitely will keep it interesting. Definitely will push people to the limit of their creativity. So hopefully you guys treat it as a fun, competitive activity. A lot of hostility being passed around in round 1. I don't know why. But hey, some people are what they are and other people are not. Any questions? Any lingering questions? Shout out Sully for the resub. Who do I think had the best song round one? Sully, you're asking what is the curveball? You've already agreed to the beat with Flint. What are you talking about? You pick, all right. Or what is the next curveball? Is that what you're asking? Who do I think had the best song round one? Let's see. Looking back through it, I think it's between 3 tracks, maybe. Two tracks, maybe. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm looking at this right. I think it's between 2 tracks. MCD or Nick Bonin. I would give the nod to MCD because Nick's was shorter, but I think theirs were probably the 2 most overall appealing in terms of like people could just pick it up and listen to and digest it, and also quality and all that other stuff. But I definitely have like a top 5, but I'd say like best of the best round one, it was between MCD and Nick Bonin. Oh, Sully. Yeah, that was the first twist. This is kind of just a minor twist. It's going to get a little bit more complicated as things go along. So, yeah, this is just one of several twists. Did I miss any other questions? Let's see. Anyone interested in the Go Gadget remix with Ray Stantz? I guess he's got to open for more cock bars, I guess. Seems to be a running theme here on our server. Can't get enough of that. Anybody want to guess on some other round, some future curveballs, or anybody want to throw some in the bag? I heard some ideas bounced around from a couple people just chatting over the last couple weeks. None of them had any ideas remotely related to what I had, but still interesting to see what people thought might be the twist. Match predictions like in round one. Okay, I'll give some match predictions. No sound, only visuals. 3 words opponent must use. I thought about that. The thing is, I wanted to keep it kind of like similar to, like I said, stuff that I encountered working at a studio and interacting with like people in the industry, but also kind of keep it fun. But also, given we had one person submit a 8-year-old song, make sure that people were actively using their current brains and not their former brains. Although that could be a thing. You never know. You might be around. Throw out your best track and see if you can win. We'll see. Song should have to be 5 minutes. I'm not even listening to that. Dear God. Y'all get like 2 minutes of my ears if that was around. Yeah, man. If he paid 25,000 to have 50 Cent host his song, I guess he said nothing really came of it, so he didn't really. I don't think he really got his money's worth out of that investment. But who knows? I don't think we have producers who have enough beats to submit to this. That was the thing, and that was the thing that I was like trying not to bank on, is relying on people churning out content in order for us to generate content. If it was just the 16 that I started with, then sure, maybe I'd ask around the Discord more and say, hey, anybody got a stash of beats that they want to contribute? But now we're at 35 people. So that's, 35 beats potentially in a round. I don't know if any of our producers, other than like Noir and maybe Gons, have 35 beats sitting around that are in a usable state. Also, considered pairing up, because people were talking about the whole let's pair up artists and producers. The logistics of that seems challenging to me. If somebody else in WCR wants to take on the challenge of hosting a artist producer tournament, feel free to. I just imagine chaos of trying to like get a producer to make a beat in a timely manner and get the artist to turn the song around in a timely manner. I think it would have to be a very, very, very small tournament, like 4 artists, 4 producers, because I don't think we have active people beyond that count that would like pair up evenly. I'm sure we have way more producers than artists, but I don't think all of those producers match the artist styles. I don't know. The logistics on me are too much for me to like want to bother with that. I'm not saying that we wouldn't, try to make it happen, but I'm not the guy. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be separate from this also. I think that would be like its own thing to have a combination. I would almost rather like you guys talk amongst yourselves and say, hey, me and this producer want to go against these guys, and have a bunch of combinations come to us and say, hey, we're a team and we want to go up against these teams, than us try to like randomly pair up people. I mean, imagine if Modern McConaughey and Gons get randomly paired up against each other and they got to work together the duration of a tournament. It just leave a bad taste in my mouth. But hey, if there's producers in our Discord that have a catalog that they would be willing to like contribute to a tournament, we're all ears. Not saying no. Just chatting, as they say on the Twitch categories. I'm just chatting. Yeah, MCs could certainly pick the same beat. I mean, that could be a thing in this round as well. Like that's what Sully and Flint agreed to. They picked the same beat for each other, so it's not like people can't have overlaps of beats. Somebody like Swag Lean, though, his beats probably I can't afford his beats. You gotta give me the value meal beats, Swag. Too pricey for me. Old beats that you don't want to sell. And see, that's my thought. As an artist, if you have old beats that you don't want to sell, are they good beats? Or are they just like passion project beats? Tracks in other languages are allowed. There's no rule on languages. I would just say, look, and I said this earlier when people were asking about what happens when competitors don't vote on matches. You guys are the society right now, so you kind of dictate how this league is going to go. If you think that your other language is going to garner you votes against your competitor, have at it. If you feel like you're going to be skewed off of some votes because people don't understand or they can't get the cadence, then I would say that you're taking a risk. If both of you are doing a separate language, then maybe that risk balances out. But I would say if you're doing German against English, you would be at a disadvantage. So I would say consider that. But there's no rule against what language you got to rap in or sing in. Also, it's not a rap competition. People are free to sing. People are free to do opera. Do whatever you want. But yeah, if you want to do German versus German, it probably balances out the language barrier. But, you know, I would say most of the audience is going to be speaking English. So you should make sure that it is appealing to your listeners. Or if you just don't care and you want to make songs that appeal to you, that's fine too. So Torius, Square Up is a song versus song league. So people are given some criteria round after round. They make a song. They're paired up head to head. 1 week to create a song, 1 week to vote. And then we move on to the next round. You should have access to the channel, Noir. It's in the category right underneath official stuff. Here, hold on. Let me pull this up. There's probably a couple things I need to update. Where is this? All right. So everybody's on our Discord, I imagine. Or if you're just like one of those people who hangs out on Twitch, that's cool too. Hold on. Move me there. Boom. All right. So categories on the left. Got the whatever at the top. How many people are here? Official stuff. Right under official stuff is the Square Up League. If you don't see that, let me know. But everybody should see it. Let me make sure. Because this thing did reset itself. Yeah, it's not a private category. Everybody should be able to view it. Underneath that is a chat. And in the chat, everybody has their matchups in their threads. If you don't see it, which I see some people saying, go up here where it says channels and roles. Click on that button. Then click the browse channels buttons. And you need to check this here where it says follow category. So again, if you do not see the Square Up section, go at the top of the list of the channels, hit channels and roles, go to browse channels, or I think on mobile it might say all channels, but either way, it's not customized. Go to browse and hit follow category. You just need to see the chat. And then if you want to see the bracket as well, you can see the bracket. The rest of the stuff is administrative, so no need to worry about that. But once you see it, you'll see the chat. I did just post a message to Nikki. She is the bye week for this week, so she has to make another intro song to knock X Raiders off of the throne. But there is a post that has all of the threads in there. So if you want to go through and see what beats everybody's picking from, you're more than welcome to. Noir, if you wanted to submit some beats for a future round, you're more than welcome to. Oh, you don't view message history? All right, hold on. Let me fix that. Forgot about that. There. All right, that should be fixed. And this one too. Yeah. All right. Let me know if you see it now, Noir. All right, but yeah, go in there, find the match that you want to check out. We got some good matchups. I'll do some predictions here in just like a moment. I think voting went pretty straightforward. I think there was only one person who kind of like half-assed their votes. Those didn't get counted. We did have a couple new people join the server yesterday, and they cast some votes, and I really started to lean in on counting those votes, but I didn't think it was necessary because only one match was truly close, and I didn't want to bend the policy and have to keep towing that line. So I think voting is going fine. But like I said about, when people ask me about particulars of rules, it's just like society, man. If society feels like things should be a way, you guys are going to vocalize it. If there's one person out there kind of like partially voting or not voting at all, and you guys decide that it's not worth your time to vote on their track, that's up to y'all. At the end of the league, wins matter, number of votes matter. So you guys decide how you want this league to run. And if somebody feels some type of way because they're not getting some votes, they got to speak up. I think this is different from like petitioning people to vote for you, right? I think there was a couple people who didn't vote. More than a couple, actually. A handful. But yeah, man, it's like if you go into the prison yard, right? The officers aren't making the rules on the yard. Prisoners are. I'm not calling y'all prisoners or anything, but I made the rules as straightforward as I could so that you guys can kind of like navigate that lane yourselves. Casanova voted. He voted on a couple. Swiss didn't vote. Zig fell asleep. So yeah, let's just call that last round the entry round, right? Maybe now is the meat and butter. So now that you guys have a taste for blood and you see how things are going to run, you know what to do. I would say put peer pressure on your peers to have this league driven in the direction that you want it in. Like I said last night, I'm just a dungeon master. If everybody comes to me and say, hey, we want this thing, as long as it's not like crazy out of the box, I'll do what I can to make it happen. This is for y'all. A lot of people said, we did a couple polls end of last year, early this year, like, hey, what do you guys want to see out of the community? And people said more tournaments. So you got the Battle of the Bangers. As we get ready for the producer tournament and other stuff later this year, we have the league. So this is what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted to be able to compete and engage. Here it is. So if you guys tell me, I mean, if a bunch of people come to me and tell me, hey, we want this round for this, other than like the tag team shit, I'll throw it in the mix. I'm a fan of the people. All right. Any other questions before I do some predictions and then skedaddle on my day? But again, I do appreciate everybody who joined and signed up. Some good tracks. I have all the tracks saved. I guess I will load those to the WCR SoundCloud sometime over this weekend. That way that they're re-listenable by the audience. Or let me ask this question. Here's a strange question. I mean, other than Above Orbit's 50 Cent song, would you guys want to see that distributed by White Collar Rhymes? I don't know if anybody made any songs that they just wanted to hold on to their own projects or anything, but would you guys like to be etched in stone somehow other than the intro track that I already had plans for? I don't know, just throwing that out there. No more questions. No more questions. Comments, concerns. All right, fuck it then. Predictions. High Lord Tech versus Waterboy. I think this one will be pretty close. I can see this one going either way. I think Waterboy probably. I don't know. It really depends on what beat they end up with. That was the curveball to me, is like, so as far as the beat choice, here was the thought pattern around the beat choice. It was random, but I did like go through and I tried to include something that would appeal to one or both of the people in there. However, since you are picking your competitor's beat, highly likely that gets ruled out. So, but in the case of like Sully versus Flint, they just agreed to shake dicks and go with it. And this one, I definitely think it's going to come down to beat choice. I think Waterboy slightly, maybe like 1 or 2 votes. Maybe 1 or 2 votes, but I think Waterboy on this one. Let me just start from the top. Brit versus Above Orbit. I'm going Brit. Only because Above Orbit submitted an 8-year-old song. I'm not sure that he can muster it up to like jump on one of these beats, but I'm definitely open to hearing what he comes up with. But I feel like Brit will start to use some of her resources, and I feel like she can make some steps in the right direction. Tysky versus Little Swiss. I think Little Swiss by 3 or 4 votes. Tysky showed up. YPG versus X-Raider. This one's tough. I feel like X-Raider by default, but if YPG goes back to his high energy, I feel like YPG. He went kind of softer song on us first round. But I feel like if he goes back into his bag and he gets comfortable, I feel like YPG, but I'm going to go X-Raider by default. King Zig versus Ray Stans. Oof. The mentor versus the mentee. I'm not saying which one is which. This one's tough too. I'll go Zig on this one. Ray's gotta get out of that pocket of cock raps. No more, unless they both do like bricked up raps. That's a good point, Jacob. If they both do like bricked up songs, I think Ray takes it. Ray's got a little bit more clever wordplay, but if it's just kind of open-ended, whatever topics, I think Zig takes it. D-Bird versus Rogue Jepsen. D-Bird wants to see Rogue on Hustle Hard as the beat. I think Rogue is going to... I've played games with Rogue, and Rogue doesn't play fair, so I think Rogue is going to pick whatever beat is disadvantaged to D-Bird, so I'll go Rogue on this one. Otherwise, I would have picked D-Bird. Coulter versus JCC. All right. These guys are already in here debating. I think Coulter by 3. Coulter by 3. Let me check my spreadsheet because JCC versus Rogue Jepsen was the closest matchup in round 1. JCC got 9 votes. Rogue got 10 votes. And I think it would have swayed the other way if I included the 2 joins from yesterday. I think one of them or 2 of them voted for JCC. I think JCC would have won by 1 vote. I'm gonna stick with Coulter by 3. But I guess that all depends on Cryptic Mitch's mix, right? Got to use that noise gate. All right. Swag Lean versus Mista. Mista's not he's a sleeper. I think if Swag Lean can get a proper mix and really write some quality lines, he could win this, but by default, I would take Mista. And I've told Swag this on the review show. He's got to dial it in, man. If he focuses and he just really stays in his groove, he can do some damage. But all the cousin loving and the grandma humping, I don't know if that will get him the W in this case. Johnny Soul versus Uno Deuce. Uno Deuce chose to keep his no-show track hidden, which was probably wise in this standpoint. Soul, usually a rocker, so he has to kind of conform in this aspect. I don't know. This could go either way. I guess I'll have to go Soul purely because I haven't heard Uno Deuce. And that's really the only thing I have to go on. I'll go Soul. I've heard a few of his songs. Ripples versus MCD. This should be interesting. Ripples, more of a technical rapper. MCD, more of a storyteller. I'll go MCD by 4-ish. I don't know. Cody Nash versus Iron Mike. Sure, this will be interesting. I got Cody Nash on this one purely because I don't think people like modern day McConaughey. I know people will be fair and they'll vote for the song that they like, but I think modern day McConaughey has already laid the groundwork of dislike amongst his peers. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? They might end up dissing each other. All right. Flint versus Sully. German raps, they've already decided. They've already picked a beat. Let's see what this beat is. I'm going to go Sully. I feel like Sully's going to do something melodic and more appealing than Flint. But given that they're both doing it in German, I feel like Flint probably has more polished vocals in the delivery. But I want to say Sully will probably have the more appealing track. Ravillas versus Nick Bonin. I'll go Nick Bonin because I feel like the track that I heard from Ravillas, he'll probably be at a disadvantage mix-wise. I think he'll probably compete song-wise, but I feel like it's going to come down to the mix. And I've seen a lot of critical judgments on mixes in round one. Seems to be a hot topic. We even had a mix-off. People spun off and did their own little mix-off. So I feel like this one would come down to mix. Nick is really in his head about the lyrics, so I feel like he'll probably do like 3 different versions of a song. But I feel like he'll nail the mix either way. So my advice to Ravillas, if you aren't confident in your mix, try to reach out to some of these people who are confident. Joe Boston versus Bird. Not to be confused with D Bird, just Bird, or Producer Bird, or Demon Bird as he calls himself now. Joe Boston really showed up round one. We gave him a shout out on the Wednesday show. I think if he can keep that energy, I see Joe Boston taking this. I think if Demon Bird stops trying to hit high-pitched notes and he just kind of like, I think this is one instance where you can hit on cruise control and you could win. But like all the risk taking that he does with some of his songs, or like the lack of layers and all the mixing stuff that he keeps talking about, I think if he keeps like venturing down that alley and Joe Boston redoes what he did round one, I think Joe Boston wins. So I'm gonna lean Joe Boston. Joe Boston by 2. Trev versus Catalyst. I'll say this. I feel like Trev has a tighter delivery. I feel like Catalyst has a cooler style. This one's going to come down to topic for me. I think, and this is just my opinion as the host, I'm not participating, I'm not voting. I think if Trev continues down this path of just like dissing everybody, it goes to Catalyst. Easy. I think we've heard that from Trev quite a bit. You know, obviously people are going at him for whatever reason. People think he's cult. People think, you know, sounds the same, think he can't do hooks, yada, yada, yada. We've heard it all. Trev is a good artist. I like Trev's music. But I think topic-wise, people want to hear different things from him. So I think if Trev does something that's not somehow sneaking in a diss against his opponent, he could win. But based on everything that I've heard recently, I would go Catalyst. Slight favorite. This is going to be another close one, I think. This is going to come down to voter preference. Definitely voter preference on this one. But that's just my 2 cents as an observer. Is I think if Trev keeps dissing people, people will stop thinking this is unique and cool and clever, and they'll just vote opponent. So I'll go Catalyst by default on that. Cable versus Birdcage. Birdcage ended up with COVID and he couldn't make it last round. But he did win Passive's song tournament, his Labor Day song tournament. He has been known to come out with a really cool track every now and then. But I think Cable, I'm going to go Cable. Just because Birdcage still has COVID. Why would I vote for the guy who barely has the voice? Birdcage, I'm sorry. I'm going Cable in this one. Lil Bucky showed up, cleaned house round 1. St. James versus Casanova. This one's going to be good. I feel like people are not giving St. James the credit he deserves. Dude's got some skill. Casanova also got some skill. Man, Casanova, I'm sorry. You keep getting like these really tough matchups. First Little Swiss and then this. Sheesh. I'm gonna go Casanova because I feel like he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder, not getting the win in round 1, and he's gonna take what people said about his round 1 track and he's gonna use that to his advantage and say, I know what the people are looking for. I'm gonna write based on what I heard. I feel like he's highly adaptable. I'm not saying St. James isn't, but I feel like Casanova is gonna try to edge out based on what happened round 1. And then High Lord Tech versus Waterboy. Waterboy, newcomer, I believe, homie of Catalyst. High Lord Tech, homie of X-Raider. We've got the Battle of the Crews here. Maybe that's one of the tournaments we have, crew battles, since you people like to click up. I think Waterboy on this one. Wait, I already said this one. This one, yeah, I already said it. But I think Waterboy on this one. This was the first one I talked about. But I think Waterboy, circling back on this, because I feel like he's going to appeal more generally. But I definitely think High Lord Tech is going to be in the running. So, could go either way. All good. All right. Well, that's round 2. So, give everybody until midnight tomorrow to tell their opponents what beat that they're using. If I don't see a beat chosen for your opponent, then I will choose one for your opponent. So up to you to get the edge. After that, you guys have until next Sunday to turn in your tracks, and then we'll do voting again Monday through Friday. I feel like that worked out. I know not everybody voted, but I did see a whole lot of voting activity Friday night. So I feel like without the pressure of having to vote day one, give some space there, kept things going. I know some people were anxious to get the second round going, but I feel like we need more space here just because there's a lot of people competing. So we'll continue down this path. Shout out to everybody who signed up and competing. Appreciate y'all. I think I resolved all the technical things, so hopefully just keep going smooth. But I'm going to get out of here. If y'all need something, y'all know where to find me. We'll be doing the review show, the free queue, tomorrow morning, so I'll catch y'all then. Otherwise, be easy. Adios. I'm out of here. Ta-da. Skedaddle. Bye. All that good stuff.